Om Shanti and good morning. Om Shanti. As we all know, one of the main subjects which we are studying here is yoga. It is the most important. Actually, all subjects are important, but this is the most important. And in the practice of meditation also, what is important is concentration. If our mind fritters away, it is scattered, it runs from one to the other place, it is not stable, then our practice of yoga is not ideal, is not what it should be. So concentration is very important. Now, other systems of meditation or concentration adopt artificial means to be proficient in the practice of concentration. If you have observed, they draw a number of circles on a blackboard, and there is a center, and these are concentric circles. They ask their followers to practice concentration by first concentrating their mind on the outermost circle, as if they are not seeing the other circles. Can you picture to your mind a number of circles drawn on a chart or on a blackboard, having a center to which all these are concentric circles? First of all, you are concentrating upon the outermost circle, neglecting the other circles, not paying any attention to them. Then paying attention to the second, then to the third, then to the fourth, and finally just overlooking, neglecting all the circles and concentrating mind only on the center. If while you are looking at the center, you overlook all the other centers, they say you have attained concentration. So this is how they practice concentration. That is one of the ways which the Hatha yogis generally adopt. But Baba has given us natural ways of practicing concentration. After all, what is the use of practicing concentration on a geometrical point which has concentric circles about it? The idea actually is that our attention should be fully devoted to one God. Now, in the practice which I just mentioned before you, God does not come in the picture. They just talk of a point, a dot, that's all. But in our system of meditation, which we call yoga, linking the mind to God, we pay our attention to Shiv Baba. How do we do that? Baba has given us many ways. One of the ways is, Baba says, first of all, when you say that God is one, What does it mean? God is one. Just as we have a theory and then an applied part of it, similarly, what do you mean by God is one? How do you apply this to practical life? God is one. What do you mean? God is one. All religions say God is one. No religion says God, there are two gods, three gods. Because they say, as only one king can sit on a throne, so also there must be one God. If there are two or three gods, they will quarrel among themselves. One will say, let there be rain, the other one will say, no, not today. You see. As has been happening during the last week. I have sometimes been wanting not the rain to be there. I wanted to go for a morning walk, but there would be rain. So if I had my way, I would say, let there be rain. And if another one who has an authority has his way, he would say, no, let it be a dry day, no rain today. Okay. So God is one, they say. Everyone says God is one. But what does it mean in practical terms? It means there is only one Sadgati Data. One who gives salvation, who redeems us, who is our Savior, who gives us bliss and beatitude. He is only one. Gati और Sadgati Data एक है. That is what is meant by God is one. All religions boast that they believe in one God. Muslims, for example, they say we believe in the unitariness of God. God is only one. No two gods. Similarly, Christians. So also with Jews. So, but what do we mean? It means Gati Sadgati Data Ek hai. One who gets you salvation is one. No other. Because only He can give you mukti, liberation, who Himself is always liberated. If one himself is not liberated, how can he liberate you? A person is tied by means of a rope to a tree. If you ask him that he should liberate you, he would say, but I myself am tied. How can I liberate you? We are all subject to birth and death. We are in karmic account. So how can we liberate others? God only is always above these, above karma, the effect of karma. And therefore, He alone can do it. Secondly, it means the Father is one. Khuda ek hai. God is one. It means our Father is one. The Father of all souls is one. We may have a religious father, like Christians having Christ, or Mohammedans having Muhammad, and so on. But the Supreme Father, Father of all fathers, is one. That is what is meant by God is one. So when we say our Father is one, it means we can have inheritance from one. No other one can give us inheritance of purity, peace and prosperity. This is actually what we want. Purity, peace and prosperity. And this is the inheritance, the divine inheritance, which our Father gives. And Father is one. That is what we have to have, the firm faith. God is one means the Father is one. The Liberator is one. And then कल्याणकारी एक है. सदगति दाता एक है, that is the liberator is one, father is one, and kalyankari ek hai. One who ultimately absolves us from all the evils. He also is one. No other one can do, you see, permanent good to us. God alone can do it. Kalyankari ek hai. In India, generally we have some kinds of processions, and in processions there are slogans. Someone shouts a slogan, others people follow it. Sabka kalyankari kaun? Ek Shiv Paramatma. That is what they say. So we have to remember God only is kalyankari. No other one is kalyankari. All right. If God is Sadgati Data, if He is Kalyankari, if He is Father, then what does it mean? We should depend totally upon Him. We should surrender ourselves to Him. We should think of Him and none alone. We should not depend on anyone else, because otherwise that will be a failure. We won't be able to attain. Why should we look toward those who cannot give us that thing which we want? We are expecting something from others. Take for example, Guru. Sabka Sadgati, Sab Data means Sabka Sadguru Ek hai. God alone is the Guru, the Sadguru. People are having so many gurus, you see, so many teachers. So when we have this firm faith in our mind that God is the liberator, God is the Father, God is the one who salvages us, absolves us of our evils, then we surrender only to Him. Naturally, then we will remember Him only. That is one way. If we don't remember Him, if we don't have concentration, it means still we think that other people can help us. There are others who may be able to give us some of this thing, of these which I mentioned. You see? So, one of the ways of having concentration is just to think that God is one, Father is one, Sadgati Data is one, Kalyankari is one, Sadguru is one. Then your mind will not run helter-skelter, this way, that way. It will be stable. Secondly, there are many kinds of concentration. And concentration depends upon many factors. For example, one is the concentration of thoughts. What actually generally is meant by concentration and understood by common people by concentration is concentration of thoughts. Vaicharik ekta, that there is only one vichar, one thought. Other thoughts don't enter the mind. This. Sometimes it so happens you have one thought. Let me go to the center. You have this thought. Then immediately after that comes the other thought. No, not today. I am tired. I don't go today. Tomorrow I will go. Let me take some rest. This is another thought. Then another thought says, no. This is alasya. This is laziness. I must not neglect my studies. I must go to the center. So such chain of thoughts, one after the other, is there. And not to have these chain of thoughts, but to have only one thought, is Vaicharik Ekta, concentration of thoughts. How to have concentration of thoughts, which is generally what is discussed as concentration. How can we have this? Because you will find actually what happens is we have many desires. Our desires generally do not allow our thoughts to stop. We have one after the other. One of my desires is to go because I want to have high status in future. The other thought, the other desire is not to go, but to rest. So actually what happens is there are two different desires, and those desires are pulling me in the opposite direction. And therefore sometimes we say, I am in two minds today. There are not two minds, mind is one. But there are two desires actually. And because of those two desires there are two thoughts, and these thoughts go on. And therefore you want to stop one. So unless and until you have concentration of desires, you cannot have full concentration. Pinpointed concentration. Total concentration is possible only when the number of desires is reduced. It becomes less and less and less. Your mind is clear. It is not confused. What do you want? You understand it. You are not trying to understand it. Sometimes saying that this one is better, sometimes is saying that the other one is better. Like some people go to a shop to purchase some cloth, they see number of cloths, number of kinds, but select none. The shopkeeper thinks that he is a whimsical man, you see. He is not able to select, he is wasting my time as well as his own time. So also happens with us. Often we are not able to make a choice to decide what we want. We are confused. We don't have one thought. So if we have clear judgment, our observation is keen and deep, and then easily and immediately we are able to thrash out what our requirement is, what we want. Then we will not have so many thoughts, and we will be near concentration. Then a little effort would take us into concentration. So, how can we have clarity of mind? How can we be free from confusion? Many people would say, today I am a bit confused, you see. When we also talk to some people, we find that they are not able to make up their mind. We say, अरे भाई तुम आज confused मालूम हो रहे हो. You are looking confused. What do you mean? Confused. What is confusion? You have all experienced. It's not a difficult question. You should be able to answer immediately what confusion is, because we all are bhukta bhogi. We all have experienced it. Confusion. What is confusion? क्या कहते हैं? Sometimes when you want to clarify confusion, on the other hand you create more confusion. So they say confusion worse confounded, isn't it? What is this? What they say? So when we are not decided, our mind is not clear. We do not know our own mind. We are not determined. We don't know our requirement or what is better for us. Therefore, when our mind is confused, we go to some senior, someone more experienced, someone more wise, ask him to guide us, tell us what we should do, because we are not able to understand what is in our interest. Therefore, we want them to enlighten us, to tell us what to do under these circumstances. So, what is lacking is clarity of mind. Clarity of mind is lacking. But why again clarity of mind is lacking? Some people have clarity of mind, others don't have clarity of mind. Why? Why we don't sometimes have clarity of mind, which is very important attribute. We are unable to take proper decisions. We take wrong decisions and therefore do wrong actions and create new karmic account if we don't have clarity of mind. So, as concentration is important, clarity of mind is also no less important. Without clarity of mind, you will be committing blunders, you see, and there will be so many problems created because we don't understand. Clarity of mind is because we don't understand as we should understand. We don't understand things properly, deeply. That is what is meant by clarity of mind. Like, what do you say when someone explains something to you and you say, would you please repeat? It is not clear to me. What do you mean by saying it's not clear to me? It means that you have not properly understood it. So clarity comes from understanding. If you understand very properly, deeply, in full light, then there should be no problem. So this clarity of mind, it depends upon understanding, proper understanding, right understanding. And when we have rightly understood and we are clear in our mind, then sometimes it so happens we are not able to judge what to do because the difference between one thing and another is just rather sharp, very little. There are two things in which we are interested. Someone asks me, would you like to go to America or you would like to go to France? You see, I am interested in both, going to America as well as in France. Now there are two interests. Maybe there is little difference. Perhaps I want to go to America, this is my first interest. Or I want to go to France, that is my first interest. So which one is my first interest? They are almost equal, and therefore I am unable to decide. When the difference is very small, so that we cannot make it out, then again we are confused. The clarity is there which is in our interest, but it is not complete clarity, and therefore we are not able to decide. We waver. Our mind is shaky. We are unable to take decision. And by the time we take decision, the time is over. Like a student in the examination hall, he is served with a question paper and he is thinking what reply he should give, what answer he should write in the answer book. And he thinks and thinks and thinks and thinks. And by the time he has thought, the time is over. He has to give the blank paper and come back weeping to his home, telling his mother that he is very sorry. Why? Because I could not decide and there was little time, you see. Time is very important. Everything is to be done within time. It is not only necessary that you do things, but it is equally necessary that you do things in time or on time. If you don't do them in time or on time, no use. A person has a heart attack. Now you require a doctor. You call a doctor. The doctor comes, but he comes only 2 minutes late, when the patient has expired. Finished. So what is the use? The doctor must come in time, you see. It is important. So also when you want to make decisions, you must make it in time. And in order to make decisions in time, you must be quick in having decisions. And that is possible if you can see through. Clearly you can see through. Just as if a person does not have proper eyesight, he is not able to see things properly. Similarly, A person who has not the eye of knowledge properly opened, fully opened, may not be able to see the pros and cons, the advantages and disadvantages, and takes a lot of time to make a decision. I will think over it. You tell somebody to do something, I will think over it. Then again, it happens with so many people. Someone wanted to surrender to Shiv Baba because he is a retired person, has no problem, monetary problem, no family encumbrances, he is a free person. So I will do it tomorrow, day after tomorrow. After doing this thing, I will do it. Goes on postponing. And ultimately, what happens? He has a heart attack and he is finished. If he had surrendered to God when he was alive, you see, after he is dead, he cannot surrender. Everyone surrenders when one is dead, you see. That surrender is no surrender. Don't you think that everyone, when he has died, he surrenders? But that is too late. He cannot inherit, cannot get bhavas properly. But when there was the proper time, he was unable to decide. You see. Such is the human nature, weakness. So we have to decide, and in order to decide, we have to clarity of mind. And in order to have clarity of mind, we have to have proper understanding. Then only we can have only one mind, not two minds. We cannot have a number of thoughts, but only one thought. And this is what you mean by concentration. That your mind does not run in all directions, but it is attentive only to one thing at a time. You have made a choice, and therefore you pay full attention to it. What do you want to become? Some students first of all may join a medical college. I want to become a doctor. When there a person goes and sees that he has to dissect, you see, living things, and he is afraid of it, to dissect somebody who is living is very dreadful to him. He can't do that. His nature is against it. He gives up the medical college. I will become an engineer. All right. Then he may join an engineering college. Then he has to have so many drawings in his mind. He has to draw so many lines in his brain. Oh, what is this? Engineering. I don't want this kind of thing, you see. So what do you want? I want to become a professor of mathematics. Okay, you join mathematics. Then again he is fed up with it. So what will he become ultimately? Jack of all, master of none, you see. He won't attain his proper destination. If you just go on changing like this, we have to decide. And in order to decide, we have to make up our mind. And in order to make up our mind, we have to understand what each thing stands for. Without understanding, if we jump into it, we lose everything. So one of the kinds of concentration I was talking about was Vaicharik Ekta, concentration of thoughts. This is one. Then another is Sambandhatmak Ekta, which means concentration in regard to relations. Sometimes one thinks of the child, sometimes of the friend, sometimes of mother, sometimes of father, sometimes of the boss, sometimes of the neighbor. We have so many persons related to us in one way or the other. And if our mind always is thinking of one or the other Dehadhari person, embodied persons, then we become body conscious. We can't attain the concentration which should lead us to yoga. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. Tvameva bandhus cha sakha tvameva. God is not only our mother and father, He is our teacher, He is our preceptor, He is our best friend, He is our guide. So when Baba says you stabilize all your relationships with Him, with Baba, then concentration comes. It does not mean that you have to renounce all the other relations, but knowing that these are your relations based on the body, you are not to feel attached towards them. Your love should be only for the Supreme Being. That should be your relationship, which should draw your mind again and again to it. So unless and until you have Sambandhatmak Ekta, that is concentration on one who has all relations with you. If your relationships are so many, scattered here and there, then also you can't have concentration. So this is another kind of concentration. Sambandhatmak Ekta. Baba has given us this. Others don't talk of it. In Bhakti Marg, of course, they sing about it, but they don't practically do it. Whereas Baba asks us to practically remember it, that my Father, most beloved Father. Whenever we used to write our Father, Baba said, no, use the word most beloved, our most beloved Father. These words must be used along with it. Not only Father, most beloved Father. So when we remember Him with all these kinds of love, because love is the cementing force, it is love which unites you. Whenever you just try to examine your mind, the mind always thinks of someone whom you love or whom you hate. There are two ways. One who hates, one who loves. One who hates, he also remembers, you see. Anyone who has jealousy and hatred, he also remembers very much the person against whom he has hatred. And the other person who has love for someone, the more the love he has, the more he remembers. So love or hatred. And in our case, in practice of meditation, what you are supposed to have is love for Baba, and vairagya towards the world. Not hatred, but vairagya. Hatred is different. Vairagya is another thing, altogether different thing. But vairagya must be had. Then only you can have love. You love only one, none but one. Baba said none but one. So when you have this Sambandhatmak Ekta, when you remember God in all His relationships, then you have this. Then Smrityatmak Ekta. Your remembrance is of one. Baba says, you must remember me. The first thing I said was, you see, Vacharik Ekta. That is, think of only one thing at a time. Baba says, no wastage, no leakage. You must stop all thoughts. Apply Bindu, you see, to thoughts. That is the concentration. Then Sambandhatmak Ekta. Have all your relationships with me. That will lead you to concentration. Then what I am now saying is Smrityatmak Ekta. Remember only one. How is it possible? When you remember so many people, so many things, even of your childhood, your past, good or bad, then you can't stop your mind. Your mind always goes here and there. If you can reduce it more and more, because the past is past, holy mana holy, Baba says. That which is past, you must discard now. Talk of the future, live in the present. Otherwise, you will be living in the past. If you think of the past, if you remember the past, you are experiencing the past, it means you are living in the past. Do you want to live in the past which has not been so good, not been based on purity and bliss and so on? So what is the fun of prolonging your bitter past? It's better to forget about it and to think of the future. And in order to make your future bright, you must think of the present, what you are supposed to do. So when you do this, Smriti Atmak Ekta, when your mind is withdrawn from the past and you think of Shiv Baba at the present, now is the Purushottam Sangam Yug. You must think. This is Smriti Atmak Ekta, Purushottam Sangam Yug. We are to go to golden age. So this is what you should remember. This is Sangam Yug, Purushottam Sangam Yug, and we are to go to the golden age. We are becoming deities from human beings. We are trying to become angels. Think in these terms. I was a bad man once upon a time. I used to do very bad things. If you think of this, then you don't become a good person. That is what is happening in Bhakti Marg. Main Murakh Khal Kami. Always they will remind themselves that they are bad persons. Without anybody blaming them, they themselves blame themselves that they are bad people. So to remind ourselves again and again what our past has been, that it has not been good, would lead us again to negative things. It is therefore to discard and disconnect ourselves from it and to think, I am now a Brahma Kumar or a Brahma Kumari. I am so lucky that Baba's grace is on me and I am getting inheritance from him. Now I am a godly student. Think of this present, you see. I am becoming Gulgul, a flower from a thorn. Baba is now making me. I am getting ready to go to the golden age. Think of these things. And also of the future, Baba says. What will be golden age like? What will be the system? So on and so forth. So, forget the past and remember the present and the future. And this would be Smriti Atmak Ekta. Then this will lead you again to concentration. All these things will lead you to concentration. We'll talk about more later. Thank you. Om Shanti.